On the Wake Up Radio presents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
Greetings, Black family, and welcome to On the Wake Up Radio. I am your host, DC Radical One, and you have entered the center. Shout out to our wonderful producer, Cindy Ashby. You can check us out at SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeartRadio at On the Wake Up Radio. I need to know if y'all can hear me because I'm not using the mic I normally use. So let me know whether or not y'all can hear me clear. It was an accident. I was rushing, being completely honest. I'm trying to do too many things at once. And, got the settings wrong. It happens, So, yeah, y'all can hear me. Let me know before I try to fix a problem that may not be a problem. BB for Hodier. We got a lot of people checking in. Hold on. We got you can hear okay. Yeah. I hate okay after yesterday, being completely honest. And let's see. A little muffled. All right, we're gonna deal with that shortly. All right. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Tell me if that's better. And while I wait for y'all to tell me that, I'm gonna do what my secondary producer says and put up the banner. Now, BB408 Straight Black Pride. We got a lot of people came in early. BB408 to a BB408 man. Greetings to Unique One Express. Straight Black Pride to Brother Igwe. BB408 Straight Black Pride to Brother Elijah. BB408 to Sister Farnessa. BB408 to Intellectual Maroons. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else we had. Oh, I know. Where did he go? Peace and blessings to Brother Crow. BB408 to You Got Ripped Off. And I think that's everybody that is here right now. Oh, what up, the Lord Bell? Just getting in the building. All right, so we up and kicking. So I want to talk about yesterday and yesterday's event, but really I want to ask y'all a question first before I really get into it. But yesterday, of course, we had what should have been our 6th annual Straight Black Pride, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing Day celebration. A day after her actual born day. And, when I think I said it yesterday, when I first conceived this lecture, it actually wasn't conceived for Dr. Welsing Day, but I felt like that was the appropriate time. So the next time I did it was for her day and received a lot of positive input that day. And the next time I did it, even more so. And for me, this has become my favorite lecture to do, even though it was not my favorite lecture to, how can I put it? It's not my favorite lecture that I conceived, if that makes sense. So my favorite lecture that I conceived is Africans versus Everybody. One, the concept and the putting it together and all of that's my favorite lecture from that aspect. My favorite lecture to do in front of an audience because of the response, because of the effect that it has on people, is this lecture, the Dr. Welsing lecture. Because I can tell from the reactions of the sisters that even though it is bringing up old pains and hurts, that there's a healing in the discussion and the acknowledgement of the things that are in the lecture, and a holding up of the mirror in a way, first of all, in a loving space, and said out of love, but in a way, and also in a way that allows the discussion to take place in a very protected space, because we don't have any outsiders. Before they straight black prior to Kevin Austin, we don't have any outsiders in the space. We don't have any. We don't have any. There's no vitriol in the presentation. There's no. There's no motivations for try to get over on anybody, or you know what I'm saying, we're trying to be as transparent as possible with it. And sisters, I mean, I've seen the reaction of sisters. I mean, yesterday was a prime example. I was talking to a brother, and he was like, yeah, why was you stopping so much and asking, you know, is everybody all right and things like that? It's because the reaction of the sisters. You know, I mean, sisters were really breaking down in different parts of it. You know, I could see their emotional reaction. And so, and that is really standard for this lecture. When I do that, that is the reaction. You know, and you can tell that sisters are dealing with things that they probably haven't told anyone else. You know, it's, you know, I know I grew up around women. I had a lot of sisters who were friends, and you know, for whatever you want to call it. A lot of, I worked, and you know, when you work in healthcare, you work around a lot of sisters. So I have a lot of interaction with women, a lot of discussions with women, um, and just you know, picking their brain and seeing what they think. So there's a lot of life experience that also goes into that lecture as well. And so, you know, it's always interesting. And even the discussion even took place with three of the sisters after the lecture in a different location. So because of that, and because I don't feel like, now you gotta understand too, when I put this together, this was before the rise of the you know, the Kevin Samuels and his imitators. Uh, you know, before the rise of all of that. And to be honest, when I look, at least, I haven't seen anywhere, even within the African centered community or whatever, and amongst conscious people, a place where we really have serious dialogue as brothers with our sisters about pertinent issues, even if they're not, even if those issues don't directly affect the sisters in the movement, it affects the sisters in general. So, first of all, my question is for everyone that saw it, what were your thoughts on the lecture? Y'all can put that in the chat. And I guess I would throw up some of the best comments. And y'all let me know what y'all thought. Because people, it's so funny. Like, if I do it and people that didn't see it or whatever will ask me, well, how was it? Is other than seeing the reaction on people's faces, it's extremely difficult to measure how a lecture or whatever it was when you're up there, you know, with the mic in your hand and presenting the information. It's extremely difficult, you know, to measure that. It's, you know, because your perspective is different, and with the things you're thinking about and the things that you're seeing and whatnot, all of that is different. So it's very hard for me to measure. So when people ask me, it's like, I mean, yeah, I think it went well, but the things that could be better. I saw, I watched some of the video. I saw how the video was kind of breaking up. I don't know what that's about. It's maybe I might have to end up because actually one of my laptops is a gaming streaming laptop, but that has kind of become my main laptop. So I probably will have to use the laptop that I initially bought for streaming to stream, and use the old laptop for presentations. That's probably going to be the way to go because I can't think of anything else. I've actually used both laptops to stream before, never had that issue. So I'm not even sure what the issue was. Let's see. Sister Star says that. Hold on. Let me put that up. You don't mind I put me putting that up, do you, sister? It says Sister Star says it showed that you put a lot of time and research into your presentation. Thank you for that, sister. I appreciate that. Yeah. The thing about it too was so interesting because I think it's been about 3, maybe 4 years that since I first put it together. So it's so funny. Some of the data and statistics have changed in that time frame. With the whole stopping of the world, as I like to call it. The whole pandemic and everything. So some of the data has changed because some of people's behavior has changed because of everything that's going on. So certain data points I had to change. Because, for example, that I think I talked about it yesterday, the age that sisters in the community are having children has gone up a lot, just because of a lot of older sisters all of a sudden having children, and it sways the data. So things change. So even the initial research has to be fine tuned in a situation like that, where you have data and statistics to present to people to paint a picture of where we are. BB Folding, Straight Black Pride, brother Desaline, good to see you. So yeah, another brother said that he would like to see a little more of Dr. Welsing in it, which is understandable. And that comes from, of course, it wasn't initially conceived for her day, but her spirit was in it. And I had put a couple of things, actually I had initially had only had one video when I first did it with her. And then when I changed it to do it for her day, then I added more video and quotes from her. So that was why. And I plan to be maybe an hour and a half for today. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it is, man. Every presentation I do the day after, I'm just drained. And, it feels like I don't know, like I mentally engaged in some type of sporting event or something. I don't know what that's about, but y'all tell me what was your favorite parts? What was your thoughts? Um, what didn't you like besides the tech stuff? I saw a little bit of a comment where sister said she liked the music from the extremely long 30-minute intro. The funny thing about that is I literally put that together in late the night before. I was just like, man, I need a way to get people between the time I send the link and the time we start. I need something in that intervening time besides people just watching us walk back and forth and set up. And so that's how that was conceived, and the music was just put together like that. That was a last minute thought and idea. But we talked I talked with the sisters the day, I mean, excuse me, after the event. you know, it's we don't really talk about how much of a transition it is and how difficult it is for especially older sisters who come into this knowledge. That's one thing I realize. If sisters over, especially I'll say over 30, if she comes into the knowledge like right in her mid 30s, and all she's been dealing with is Negroes, because that's the world she existed in. That transition of trying to date, after making that mental transition to becoming conscious or becoming African, or whatever the case may be. If a sister is outside of I guess a religious community, I see that is a difficult task at hand. You know, I'm not sure what the solutions are to that, to be honest. But it's just something that as you see things happen, it's kind of like, oh, hmm, this is not a problem, but this is an issue to be studied and addressed. Um, I do have something up my sleeve that I'm working on, that I haven't told y'all about, because I don't want. I mentioned it to some people personally, but you know, until it's manifest, or at least until I'm closer to implementing it, I don't want to mention it publicly. Just in case you know things aren't. I'm not able to complete the task. So, but believe me, when I mention, or when I realize that there are issues that need to be addressed, and it doesn't appear that anybody else is willing or capable of doing them, you know, that I put the old thinking cap on, and try to see what we can do. Brother Elijah says, like how you showed how our sisters have been through a lot, and showed how us. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see. Show us how we as brothers need to be there for our sisters, for us to survive as a race. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's weird. And you let me know if I can put that up, brother. Because if I can put that up, I'll put it up. I think we kind of forget, and I think it goes both ways, to be honest. As things have gone on, and this whole gender war thing, which really I just got hip to like 5 years ago, because this is what happens. You get to living your life, and things go wrong, or you're not satisfied, and then someone tells you that there's someone to blame. And in the case of a system within the system of racism and white supremacy, there is someone to blame, right? But if you don't want to put it into that context, then you're gonna start blaming the people around you. That's just how it works. All right, brother said I could put his quote up, so let me put his quote up. He says, I like how you showed how our sisters have been through a lot, and showed how us as brothers need to be there for our sisters, for us to survive as a race. All right. All right. Thank you, brother. And so I think, I don't think, I know black people have gotten into the blame game. And this is what irritates me about, even though I watch it to see where our people are mentally, what irritates me about every single well, not every single, virtually every single discussion on black relationships on YouTube, is that virtually none of them are taken within the context of being within the system of white domination or racism, white supremacy. None of them are put into that context. And thus, all of the analysis, the final analysis, regardless of the number of statistics, no matter the anecdotal evidence, no matter the intelligence of the person, it doesn't matter because taking outside of that context, the final analysis is incorrect. You see what I'm saying? So that's what irritates me about all of those discussions. And that's why you'll find me continuously coming back to having the discussions about that from our center, from our perspective. Because without that acknowledgement, it's really just, it really fuels the fire and just leads us further down the path of division and destruction. And brother, you got ripped off says, I like how you dropped that Du Bois fact and ran past it like, hold up, you're not about to say he proved more than portions and walk away. That's because, man, brother, that's because it's been three. I first put that, actually, that's the first time I think I've put that in the lecture, might have been about 5 years ago. So, so to me, it's like, yeah, let me just throw this out here again, but I guess I didn't, so it's not a big deal to me now. It's a big deal to me when I saw it, and I'm like, what? But now it's like, I've said it so many times, I just figured everybody just took it as it is. And brother Eway say, I'm put yours up, brother. So, oh, hold on, brother, you got rid of say something. Hold up, real profound. I'm about to put that up, brother. So hopefully y'all don't mind. Y'all let me know. I know it's a 7-second delay, so y'all let me know. But brother, you got ripped off, and brother Eagway, because both of y'all said something worth putting up on the screen today. Because really, this show is really for y'all. That's for the people show. So y'all let me know. But yeah, when I look at these discussions, even if they're trying to have them out of, even if they're trying to do something positive, that lack of understanding or acknowledgement, and then don't even get me into the complete lack of knowledge of Zionism, where I don't even know if people even are aware of what's going on as far as that goes. Man, don't even get me started on that. Let's see. All right, so brother, you got ripped off. First says none, and they all have a Eurocentric sex imperative. For those who don't know, who haven't read Baba Barudi's Sex Imperative book, it's imperative that you read that book to get a good understanding. But yeah, it's, trying to de-Europeanize your in essence, that aspect of your life, that aspect of human activity, referring to, that which creates procreation, is really, man, it's kind of difficult outside if you're not married. It's real difficult because everybody's used to that European aspect of dealing with relations. So I don't even think these people have the capacity to do or say anything other than that. And brother Igwe said, let's put this up. Most of those platforms don't acknowledge white supremacy at all. Right. Which is why you get the incessant um, disagreement and unhealthy dialogue and disingenuousness of the discussions at times. And the fact that most of the people aren't really committed to seeing a unified and powerful black community. I didn't even think about it. I should have put up that that Dr. Hare video again. Just to show, man, the example of what a race woman looks like, how she talks, and the things that she's interested in. Dr. Hare was so powerful. And I looked at that clip, then I started looking, I just started thinking about because I have a couple of the books, and I was just like, man, they were so pointing us in the right direction and warning us. And when I first saw her books, her and her husband's books, I probably was 18, 19. So, and I think the books had actually, a couple of their books, when I first looked at them, had already been out maybe 8 or 9 years or so. So again, sometimes when you get stuff, you're not ready for it. And then when you're ready for it, a lot of times, a lot of these books over the years, like it's hard for me. I think, brother, you got ripped off and asked me a question one time. And DM me a question one time. And I need to make your video tomorrow, brother. Answering that's what I need to do tomorrow morning or even tonight. But it's hard for me to convey to people who aren't of a certain age the completely different atmosphere of being quote unquote conscious as a young person in the late 80s and 90s as opposed to here we are in the 21st century. I can't speak for everywhere because I didn't live everywhere, but the level, I mean, first of all, um, DC was probably 85% black, and PG County was probably 60% black. So, and we had a culture then, like me and brother Janie talk about. Well, Bob Rudy, even though I haven't talked to him, he talked about the lack of identity of black people now, as opposed to that, where even even though everybody wasn't quote unquote conscious, there was a pride in being black, even if it was even if it was being a black American, there was still a pride there. So the pride that had been instilled as far as like the black during the Black Power movement, the late '60s, early '70s, even though we're talking about over decade and a half later, a lot of that was still in our people, just in general, even in church people, you know. And so that was just a different environment. The environment we're in today, where everything goes and there are no standards and there's just chaos and confusion. And everyone wants to be what they're not. The black people want to be white, the white people want to be black. um I remember a sister put up a post. The uh the black and white women want to be they want to be mulattoes or some type of hybrid mixed exotic thing, because that's what the the Instagram models and the influencers and whatever you call these people, that's what the most popular ones are. So you literally see the sisters, if you watch these like these makeup tutorials, some of the stuff that they have on YouTube, where you just like, man, what are sisters doing and thinking, and and some of these Instagram channels, and you see, you like, wow, the self-hatred. Mm, you know, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. A BB48 and straight black pride, the spirit, mind, character, soul. Spirit, mind, character, soul. I think I saw a comment where you said you can hire me as a DJ later this year. I think it was later this year. So you let me know. I'll come through and bring my digital music collection. Spin some tunes. And I was thinking about something today. Oh, I get a whole year to okay, cool. Get a whole year to get it together. Be my fourth job. In the meantime, I was thinking about something today. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not gonna drop no bars, brother. Definitely not gonna drop no bars. Those days are way, way, way in the review mirror. That is funny. What was I getting ready to say? Oh, nah. I was thinking about something today. And let me go off on a tangent for a moment. Completely, like when I say a tangent, completely. But what I realized we need? And I saw a comment that kind of re-sparked this. I already knew it before, but so one thing we need, and I guess Atlanta would probably be in a way the best and worst city for this because it's Atlanta. You know, we need a. Y'all remember when they had speakeasies back in the day? Well, not remember because none of us were alive, but I don't even know why I said it like that. Get ancestor talking through me, I guess. But from what I seen, they were private entertainment venues. You had to know somebody or know the password or something, and you go in there, and it'd be a different world. We need conscious speakeasies. We need like man in every city where there's a significant group of people who are race first, man. A place where we have some civilized music. You know what I'm saying? Some live entertainment just for us. No Negroes, uh, no Urugu, no dudes that's supposed to be conscious that bringing. Um, you know what, brother Desaline, I hadn't even talked to you about that to see if that's what it is. Um, even just having images of our scholars and stuff in the background while what I'm saying, like I said, clean quality music, even if you can get some live performers and you know, yeah, I guess the alcohol thing's debatable. you know. But if you don't do that, if you just have food and I guess you ain't gonna have alcohol. You gotta have food. Have food and a full juice bar. How about that? And something like that, man. I think we need for our man, not just for our young people and our single people, but even for something for our couples to do where they can go out in a safe space and enjoy entertainment and still within a civilized environment. We've done things here, you know, not just SBPM, but some African centered groups in the area. Like let's see, about 4 years ago now. yeah, yeah. I know, brother, but my only thing with that is that it brings out the inner Negro in people more times than not. That's why I said that. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I'm just thinking. I think that would be something where at least our people, our young people, won't feel so isolated, or it won't be so difficult for them to transition from the Negro world to our world. You know, I mean, it's just a thought. I already know Desaline is down. I didn't know what you were doing because you were doing your thing, and I know you were doing your thing. So I was just like, Desaline doing his thing. I ain't even going to even ask him about that, or because I don't know like what condition the quote unquote conscious community is in New York since everything that's gone down over the last few years. So you know, it is what it is. I do know that right now I'm planning to come up there for Malcolm X Day, and if I do that, I'm definitely coming through to see the good brother. Without question. But so that was a thought. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. I just think it's one of those things that it's an idea that we need. Like I said, we used to do the singles mixers here. SBPM used to do the singles mixers here in PG County. And we had people do fundraisers with live music and things like that. We had African dance. And a few years ago, I really enjoyed myself. I'll put it like that. And I just think I was like, yeah, it's something we need in every city. I don't know. I don't know what cities are or what's going on in what cities as far as y'all tell me because I think that every region is really different. How much are people out and about in the cities where y'all are, and how much are people still kind of like in pandemic mode, and how much conscious stuff is going on in y'all cities? Because I haven't been able to take account of that. I know when I talk before all this stuff, I would talk to people, and people were saying that they didn't know any other. Most of the time, people were saying they didn't know any other conscious people in their city, which I found shocking and disappointing, depending on the cities. Like if it's a major city with a major black population, like I remember I talked to people around Miami, a couple of people, and they were like, "Man, there's nothing happening here." And I'm like, "Wow." I mean, I know Miami is a party town, but still. I talked to somebody in Las Vegas, said there was nothing really happening. Um, what question? What is the black population of Denver, brother? I've always wondered about that because Denver doesn't scream black people, but yet on Instagram I probably follow like five, about 4 or 5 people that found out are from um from Colorado. So they may not be from Denver proper, but from the state. Spirit Mind Character so said nothing in Miami with an exclamation point. That bad, huh? Not surprised. Not surprised. That's why when people, I see more, see more about people migrating to the south and things like that, and I'm like, okay, that's all I think is okay. I'm not gonna lie. I just always had a bias against the South. I'm not gonna lie. My ancestors left for a very good reason. You know, sometimes I tell that story, sometimes I don't. You know, tell it as I heard it from my grandmother, and I just don't like the culturally. The times I've been at the South, I wasn't impressed. I went to school down there. You know what I'm saying? Went to college down there, wasn't impressed. And but it's like, hey, that was also the last time I've been to Atlanta. Maybe that was a couple of. I'm trying to think. Yeah, the last time I went to Atlanta. I guess the last time I went to Atlanta might have been 3 years ago. So, you know, they have a nice little centered community that's centered around what the Barudis do. You know, you take them up out of Atlanta, I'm not sure what's going on there. I had talked to people in the West Coast. They're like, there's nothing happening in LA. Um, Not much in the Bay Area, which I find extremely disappointing. Um, I'm just trying to think of every city where I know where I have talked to people that are conscious. That's of course, New York is kind of the mecca, but from what I've seen, kind of in decline itself. A lack of stuff in Philly, which I found shocking. His brother says that Charleston is 2 integrationists and SJW now. And that's another thing. I'm glad you kind of brought that up. That's another thing too. A lot of the major cities, a lot of gentrification is going on. So, and part of that, I think part of that push is to, because it's easier. It's been historically easier to organize in a central location, and cities, like, because if we look at it, with the Black Power movement, those northern cities created like a different type of Black person than before. Really, you always say people are moving for good weather and lenient laws, not culture, right? But what they're doing is you want to move for good weather, move to Africa. You ain't gonna find no better weather than that. That's Africa and the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, his brother said lenient laws. I know one thing: the South virtually has no gun laws, so can't argue with that part. And Sister Nina said, "Greetings. LA has the KRS Unity Center." Okay. Well, that's because that's a whole nother thing. A lot of places don't even have institutions. Now, I know for a long time LA has been strong, but a lot of people I talk to, it's weird that most of my sisters, they're just like, it's not up to par. Maybe they're measuring it by how it was. Maybe they hadn't met the right people. I don't know. So that's why I ask, because I'm not able to travel to these places. Yeah, brother. I talked to a sister from Philly, and I don't know. Maybe she hasn't had the right connection. I know some brothers up there that was doing some work, but then they moved. So it's like, I don't know. Like I said, I know a lot of people moving to Atlanta, but a lot of people aren't doing anything. And then the Barudis don't do anything live. I do know some people in Atlanta that's doing some good work though. So man, it's just I'm gonna just be completely honest. Too much homophilia in that place, man. Just too much homophilia in that place for me. You visit, it's like it's cool. The places you go is cool, but man, at first depending on where you go, at first you don't see the homophilia. You're like, oh, okay, it's good. Yeah, it doesn't take long. You're like, oh, I mean, even though, DC, you see, DC is more the integration, especially amongst the young people. It's just like, oh, goodness, how did we get here? But now that I've gone on that extremely long tangent, let's get back to yesterday. Get back to yesterday's lecture. Brother said that one brother I talked to said that he liked the part about the Brother Crow said a lot of people are moving to Dallas and Houston. I actually know someone that has moved there. And in fact, definitely know someone has moved to Dallas. I follow people social media wise that are in Houston as well. And brother, you got ripped off. Said it's going to be hard to bridge the gaps because the parents of integration have the children of integration mixing with non-Africans. So now the grandchildren, great grandchildren are multicultural. All right, I'm gonna put that up, brother. That's profound. Oops, they jumped on me. All right, here it is. Brother says it's going to be hard to bridge the gaps because the parents of integration have the children of integration mixing with non-Africans. So now the grandchildren and great-grandchildren are multicultural. Um, that is an issue that I guess depending on where you live is further along. So because the gentrification in DC is relatively new, I I'm seeing it, but I'm not seeing it as much. So I'm seeing the integration, but I haven't started to see the products of the integration yet. Oh, I know it's happening. I know it's coming here in this area, but I haven't seen the products yet. So I'm not seeing the hybrid, at least not a lot of the hybrid children. I've seen some, like I've seen some sisters who obviously are getting with non Africans for economic advantage, and I've seen what that's reproduced, but I've seen it in small parts. So, but yeah, brother, that's a problem. Brother Crow said Houston has the Shrine of the Black Madonna. Right. I forgot about that. Okay, yeah. And that's the biggest problem is building cultural centers. If you have a cultural center, then you can do something from there. You got Red said Dallas is a trap. What you mean? Let me know what you mean by that. I have only been once, so I was actually going to go for relaxation, because y'all know how much I love. Well, y'all know how much I enjoy boxing. I don't really love it right now, so I was going to go down there for a big fight, but changed my mind, hoping that a bigger fight will happen and happen in the same place. If it doesn't, well, it is what it is. But let me know what you mean, brother, about Dallas being a trap. I know a couple of people down there. They do have a couple of good bookstores and stuff, but far as those people know, it's not a lot of activity right now. But yeah. Anything else other than the brother said that the section on race women, he said that was his favorite section, and and this is a brother that had knowledge for a long time, very profound brother. He was saying that that even he forgets that we don't uplift our modern race women enough. And the reality is that the percentage, and when I'm talking about prominent. I'm not talking about sisters in organizations doing the work, because you can't have no organization worth. You can't have a productive organization if sisters aren't a part of it. It's just not. It's not gonna happen. It ain't possible. Trust me. Been in enough organizations. It's just certain stuff that sisters do better than brothers that you just can't. If you don't have them involved and they're not doing their work, it's just you can forget about it. You can forget about being productive at all. Brother Kevin says facts. It's because of the church and public school that's feeding the love is love philosophy, taught not to be race first. Well, this is the thing. We've had the church for a long time. The love is love thing, yeah. I think we greatly underestimate, man, how much homophilia just destroys us. It destroys your general moral character, and it also destroys um the natural masculine desire for implementing peace. However, it's hard. However, that has to be done by implementing peace by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Just like there's a certain masculine thing, like I want peace, even if I have to bust you upside your head to get it. And Brother Crow says the great ancestor Micah Xavier Johnson came from Dallas. Indeed. And see, brother, you got real talk. Okay, he says Dallas cost of living has grown exponentially since 2012. Blacks who moved to the area want to evade the overt racism go to Plano, Richmond, and other prominent areas, thinking the area is open to blacks. They all learned the hard way, and the agents have been busted for human trafficking in that area. Oh, wow. All right, brother. I'm definitely put that up. I had no idea about any of that. All right, let's see. Show that. It says, brother says, cost of living has grown exponentially, which it does. Um, and he said, brothers go to certain places to avoid overt racism, thinking that the area is open, which ain't the case. And then brother says, they all learn the hard way. And the Asians have been busted for human trafficking. Man, that's a whole nother discussion, man. I'm glad you put that on. Uh, and then the brother says, oh, wait a minute. This is definitely important. Hey, you definitely need to send me that. This brother said there was a video of a sister taking her daughter to a nail salon and the agents were taking pictures of the child. I sent that video to a lot of you all, apparently except me. But that's news to me. But yeah, definitely send me that so I can put that in the Africa versus Everybody, the original. That segment on, the Asians. Y'all know, those who have seen that one know. Everybody gets it in that one. There's no mercy on nobody for that one right there. Brother asked me, could he purchase that yesterday? I have to go back through the video and see. Also, I saw, because I watched some of the video, I saw where the video was breaking up yesterday. Y'all have my apologies. Like I said, I don't know what it was. Man, it was disappointing because I had planned to edit this and make physical copies. So what I might end up having to do is splice the 3 lectures together, which means I'm gonna need outside expertise for that skill set. um, and I probably had to sit down with the person to see what I want in it, because of course each lecture is slightly different. But that's going to be the way to do that. So, and plus I had to sit through the whole video to see the parts that and mark down the parts that were distorted, visually distorted. I mean, they're editing tricks around that stuff, but I'm not that skilled an editor, just not, But yeah, it was disappointing to see. Another thing, though, just man, let me just be completely honest. Y'all ain't telling me how much I need to start having more smoothies and less French fries, man. Just be completely honest, man. When I that put on that outfit, I was like, it's a little more snug than it normally is. And my brother says think that the high internet usage which caused a limited bandwidth. So I think it was more because we didn't have well, one, we got pretty good internet there. And we didn't have a whole lot of people, but I think it's more likely this excuse me, this laptop. But yeah, I ain't tell me that. Looked on camera, I'm like, wow. Like my back looks really wide there. So yeah, there'll be more pushaways for your good brother, I'm just saying. I figure if I'm gonna go to different cities and sell this message, sisters probably more likely to listen if I do a few more push-ups and pushaways. So as you know, self-improvement is a lifelong journey. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I saw it. I got to see myself. I'm like, wait a minute. Nah, that's not it. Um. But Tell me what that one looked like, because I can't remember. I don't know. I think I know. Actually, I think I didn't. I think I used my. I'm pretty sure I used my newer one for the mandate rally. I'm pretty sure I used my gaming laptop for the mandate rally. So, um, which is the black one. So, yep. Okay. Yeah. Not. Yeah. That's the gaming one. That's the gaming one. Yeah. That's the gaming one. So that that was built for that. I just have to. I just have to make some improvements on that. I got some. I can do it to make that one even better. But I know somebody who that's what they do, so I'm probably gonna get them to do it. So I'll be able to upgrade my tech. And yeah, yeah, I know it. I know. I put it like this, brother. One day, one of these days, um, well, you know what? Though last year I had a tremendous turnout last year. So I was able to, in fact, now I'm trying. Now I think, is that how I got that laptop? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm sitting here trying to remember, but yeah, the more support and the more people that we get to come out for these events, and the more people that come out online, the better the tech will be. But now I know, since y'all said it was an issue, just do the logical thing. Use the streaming computer for streaming. Makes sense. Sometimes you just have to do that which is logical to avoid problems. So that's what we do from now on. You got rid of. You can even send me send me a text the day before. We're like, hey, make sure you use the actual computer that's for the purpose it's built for. This one it's still nice, but it has to have some apparently, because I'm gonna blame the computer, needs, and I already know it needs some upgrades. It is what it is. I already know that. But I had basically what it ended up happening is I had used this. I had used the. I had put the. I had put together the presentation on the other laptop. So that's how that happened. That's how I got nominated. Oh, also, I want to acknowledge. I'm not gonna say the amount though. The monetary gift from the sister. I got that today. Okay. You sent that. Oh, okay. You sent that while the show was going on. So thank you for that, sister. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all don't understand how much the idea that I could stand in front of a crowd and teach people, and people would um, pay for the information in the atmosphere, was not something that I really thought about when I came back to the movement 10, 11, 12 years ago. God, I can't believe it's been that long. Yeah, it's been, wow, it's over a decade now. So, I greatly appreciate it. And I just try to be honest, most of the time that money goes back into stuff like we talking about with tech, or you know, we got the facility now helping to pay for that. Um, things like that. It go most of the time it goes to pay revolutionary bills. To be honest, it's just okay, good. We can keep the facility for one more month. Um, because of what we're talking about, our deculturalization and integration and gentrification. You know, doing being able to maintain an organization and being able to expand the organization, which is the goal, man, becomes more difficult. And even and I don't see the brother in here, but the brother been telling me for years, and like, man, this this anti-African bias that we develop, that makes it more difficult because the straight black pride logo has Africa on it, you know, and this thing where we don't want to be African at all costs, I think kind of limits our appeal to people to a degree. It goes without saying the straightness is abrasive to people. That ain't you don't even have to say that. And now I'm gonna be honest. Y'all tell me. It's almost like especially I see, and this is what's so weird because it's so inverted, man. It's so bizarre. But I guess it's the world we live in. And I'm just talking about amongst our people in general, not I gotta say, not in the community. But the there almost seems to be at least publicly, there almost seems to be a public, how can I put it? A public push against marriage by sisters. And I see more and more brothers publicly stating the desire to be married, and fewer sisters concurring with that assessment, or oftentimes having a child or two or three and then wanting to do that. And it's just like, what was I going to say? It just, I think it, I don't know, man. It's like something has really gone on where it's almost like the more and more men are saying they want serious relationships, and fewer women are saying it. And it's just this is what I see amongst young people. It's a weird phenomenon to me because it's always been the opposite in my lifetime. Brother, you got ripped off says, unfortunately, I think I have to remove the SBPM logo and information from my Twitch account because just mentioning an organization gets me banned from black content. Yeah, wait a minute, hold up. Let me go back. Gets you banned from black content creators? All right. I'm left befuddled here. I got to put that up because, I mean, it shows the condition of our people. Wait a minute. I thought you would go. Wait, okay, this is what I thought you were going to say, brother. I'm going to put that up in a minute. But this is what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say it gets you banned or shadow banned or whatever by the platform. I know nothing about Twitch, by the way, at all. Nothing. But you said, but this is what my bad. Let me put it up. But this is what he said. He said just mentioning the organization gets him banned from black content creators. Now, brother, you tell me, is it the straight part, the black part, or the pride part that you think they have a problem with? And Brother Crow says, oh, hold up. No, wait a minute. This sister done said something here. Let's get into it. This sister says that's because the older women teach their younger sisters and their families to look down on traditional values. All right. This sister has opened up a can of venomous snakes that we now have to attack. I'm taking your word as a sister. This isn't something that I don't think men would be privy to. Something I said yesterday, and I can't, it may have been in actually the post conversation. um, is that a lot. I said this. I believe this. I've heard other people say it as well. That a lot of older women give younger women bad advice because they're still in competition for the same pool of men. This is what I believe. I'm willing to discuss it with people who say that's not the case. I believe it because I've seen it. Um, and I've seen it in a way where when I was a young man, I if you date a younger woman, oftentimes, especially depending on where you meet the sister, there are times where the the mother had her young. So in the grand scheme of things, that her mother may only be 10 years, 12 years, 15 years older than you. And she may be jealous that her daughter is meeting someone that cares for her and is solid. I've seen, I've talked to brothers and I've seen behavior that made me believe that that was the case in situations I've been in when I was young. And only when I reflected upon it later that I was like, wow, that's what that was. After talking to other older brothers about the situation. And it's like, whew, wow, 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 wow. So that sister really hit on something there that, we really need to get into. But y'all got a lot of comments that I'm missing. Brother Crow says, plus some of our people call themselves FBA ADOS Native Americans, etc., etc. Anything to not be African, in essence. Right. Definitely. Yeah. That's a whole nother thing. Brother, you got Rizal says, oh, and those people are straight, but they capitulate to the Twitch homophile community so they can get that check. Oh, okay. That's not a problem. And Spirit Mind Character Soul says, mostly the black part and probably Africa because they want to be melanated and not referred to as a color. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And Brother Kevin says there's a big push on separation of black families on the internet by both sections of black males and black females who's pushing the interracial agenda or no direction at all. Brother, you already know that's going up on the screen. Hope you don't mind, but you know, it is what it is. We got to put this one up. There's a big push of the separation of the black family on the internet by both sections, black males and black females, who are pushing sometimes publicly, sometimes privately interracial marriage and no marriage at all. Which of course which means they're pushing the destruction of our race. Because the foundation of our race, we invented marriage. Let's just point that out. We invented the concept of marriage. We invented the institution of marriage. Black people on planet Earth invented the concept of marriage, and we've been doing it and doing it correctly for literally a million years before the last 40 years of fall off. That's why it's important to understand your history and your culture. And Spirit Mind Character Soul said that was your response to my question. Remind me, sister, because I didn't know who was giving the question, so the questions were just given to me. So I didn't know who. So remind me what your question was, and then what my response was. While I take a minute to do you can follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1, Twitter at dc_radical_ONE, OTW2 at dcradical1. The Cash App is $ DC Radical 1. Of course, this is the YouTube, capital D, small c Radical 1, and the email is dc.radical_1 at protonmail.com. Competing with our daughters for affection. Right. Okay. But what was your original question though? Because I don't remember the question. And so I just want to know what the question was. And of course, brother, you got ripped off is putting the you know what? Hold up. Let me put that up. Wait, hold up. And it's moving along. Brother, you got ripped off saying where you can purchase reading materials, lectures, apparel, community health kits, and donations to SBPM Social Architects 26.com featured products. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, well, I asked would we take a young sister under our wing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Um, I said that the sister's kind of looking around like everybody got to look around like I don't know, you know. I don't think that's. I think the focus has been on brothers so long, and brothers being in, how can I put it, brothers, what the Europeans call mentoring and building programs for the young men. It's been going on for so long, and that's been so much of the focus for so long that one thing I believe is that the effect of fatherlessness on young sisters was rarely discussed and was largely overlooked. And now we see the effect and got the blowback from it, and now nobody knows what to do about it. And Sister Star says the older women have become emotionally stunted and therefore have no wisdom to pass on to the younger women. The younger women have to fend for themselves. If the younger women got to fend for themselves in an era of feminism, degeneracy, savagery, and homophilia, then we are even more trouble than I would like to acknowledge. you know, because I mean, let's be clear. And I don't think I say this enough, but maybe I say it enough and don't realize I'm saying it all the time. We are facing a genocidal plot by an extremely cunning and powerful enemy. It's just so the games and the personal biases and the beefs that are largely irrelevant, we as a people collectively largely do not have time for that. I mean, we's trying to stave off. It's like game seven. No, actually, this is what it's like. It's like game 5 of the NBA finals and you down 3-1. you know, backs against the wall, facing elimination here. And the other team, they're not more talented, but they are certainly skilled and working together. And that's why we're losing. That's our current situation, dealing with these hats and euros and everybody else. Y'all know. You got ripped off says the sister that was talking about her program for young men was good to hear, but her omission on the young sisters just lets me know that it's now our women who need a focused approach. Oh, brother, I was looking at that and thinking about that, and I'm like, I'm not, I'm like, okay, what you're doing is positive, but how do you not see the need, or how do you not have a passion for um our young sisters? I just, it was interesting, you know. I was just observing that and thinking about it, and a lot of times, you're trying to see and get understanding from people. So I don't like to interject, especially when somebody's trying to do good work and they doing good work. You say okay, but like just the idea, it was almost like she rejected the idea. Like Nah, I ain't doing nothing with no. You know what I'm saying? That's all. She didn't say it, but it almost felt. I felt that energy. Unless I was tripping. Y'all tell me if I was wrong. Like, nah, I ain't doing nothing with them. Like she had tried it and got rejected and just was like, okay, fine. Um, I don't know. You know, that was just interesting. Her reaction and what she said and everything, it was interesting. So, and I don't know what the root of that is, but I mean, if that's going to be, I put it like this: if that's emblematic of the mentality of our sisters, then we're really in trouble. And Brother Kevin says, and there's too many irresponsible older black males who telling the younger males not to love and care for the women, which is actually promoting homophilia. You know what? I ain't even gonna comment. I'm just gonna leave it up on the screen for people to digest. I ain't said it, so y'all can't argue with me about it. Hey man, listen. The whole we don't realize how European we've become. And our whole this whole a lot of this, and I said this some of this yesterday. A lot of this, what we see, it's from the men and the women's manifest in different ways. But I saw it with the brothers first. A lot of this, with the brothers especially, is attempting to one not bear the burden and responsibility of black manhood, and two attempting to escape white domination through the genitalia of non-black, not only non-black women, but trying to escape via, sometimes via non-black men. Let's just be honest. A lot of brothers are seeking to escape white domination by hiding in the orifices of non-black people. And Dr. Welsing said that long ago. But she just said it, I think she just said it in regards to men trying to hide between the legs of white women. But it's not just, some of these dudes is trying to hide from white domination between the legs of white men as well. Um, so yeah, brother, I concur with that assessment. I see it. I've seen it for a while, acknowledged it for a while. Um, Now I'm starting to see it with sisters' embrace of sisters have taken white Jesus off the wall and now have embraced white Jesus in the form of various assorted bottom shelf brands that they can get. And as we saw yesterday with the case of Lauren, I believe her name, sister's name is Lauren Smith Fields, we saw the outcome. And the thing, and somebody sent me some posts where she had some negative things to say about black men, but my whole thing with that is you have brothers and you're in college or you're college age or just graduated or whatever. You haven't even had enough life experience to make an assessment. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I take the experience that I had with sisters at 23, let me think. Would I have a negative assessment? I probably wouldn't have it. I probably wouldn't have a negative assessment because I guess it depends. If you catch me after, you had to call me after a breakup, maybe I would have had a negative assessment. BB488 We Are Venom. Maybe I would have had a negative assessment. You catch me right after a breakup, but I've never been. Yeah, BB488, man. Yeah, brother. We have no culture. Yeah, we struggling. But I mean, That's such a young age to try to make an assessment of your own group of people. You haven't even had enough dating experience to. So what are you basing that assessment on? Is that what your mother is telling you? Even though you had, even though you have two brothers, is your mother telling you this? Like where? Um. Oh. No. No problem. No problem, brother. Like that. My thing is, are people just getting their opinions from social media and then making their assessments and then thinking, well, our people aren't this and that because she. Let's just talk about the sister Lawrence Smithfields, athletic sister, beautiful sister. Um, I know she has a YouTube page. I hadn't checked it out, but apparently, uh, nice personality. You would think, and I do know that in this generation, one of the things, her being a darker sister, she probably got some uh negative. She probably had negative experiences when she was young, and it's possible that she wasn't getting the attention from the type of brothers that she wanted. I know, that I know that's an issue, and I know that affects sisters. Because one thing, I'm gonna keep it 100. When we talking about the sisters or whatever, one thing sisters, I've noticed that sisters do, you know, in the dating arena is they'll publicly say, "Oh, nobody's checking for me," or whatever, or nobody approaches me, or whatever the case may be. No, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. I mean, the part they're leaving out is no one is approaching them that they are interested in. That's the caveat. That's the silent part. That's the unspoken part, right? It's like the whole table discussion that was going on for a while between men and women, and men was talking about saying the whole table thing. They were leaving out the most important part of the discussion. Men are like, "Oh, what are you reading table?" What what most of them were saying was, "What are you bringing to the table that makes you qualified for a long term relationship or marriage?" There's a big, giant, enormous difference between the initial statement and all the hidden part that's unsaid. I say this to sisters all the time. They get frustrated when I say it. Just being completely honest, right? Men categorize sisters based on where they think they will fit in their life and the use they will have in their life. This is something sisters don't understand. So I'm going to reiterate. I'm going to keep it, be 100% raw, just like yesterday. If you present yourself as being for entertainment, men will take you for entertainment when they need to be entertained. If you present yourself as being a possible viable option, but not quite there, depending on man's situation, he may take you for that. You present yourself as a wife, he will look for you as a wife. And there are variables within that for each individual man. What a Negro thinks is a wife will not qualify for me as an African, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? An African woman who's dealing with a Negro, he gonna find her irritating. Why you always talking about that black stuff, going to do that black stuff, and blah 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 blah. I've talked to sisters that had that issue, and I'm just like, why are you dealing with a Negro? You know. Brother, you got ripped off says, I know her case is brutal, but I thought you would have used the NFL player that beat the swirler within an inch of her life and laughed it off once he discovered she was like, brother, to be completely honest, I completely forgot about that case. You talking about the dude that played for Seattle? I completely forgot about that. I mean, as I sit here and think about it, I may do a I may do a whole maybe I do a whole show on swirling and just bring up these cases. But yeah, I completely forgot about that case. Do me a favor, if you can find an old article or whatever, or if somebody made an old post about it, just DM that to me, when you can. Because I just completely forgot about that. I didn't do a video about it enough. And I did another video where the sister was arguing with the Urugu and he buried her in the basement or threw her in the freezer in the basement. I did that one. I did the one where the Urugu got drunk and killed the sister for no reason. And that wasn't even a domestic thing. Okay. You said okay. Yeah, I don't even recall. But yeah, that's so I've touched on different things, but I yes, I just forgot about that. So this was current. This was um relatively recent, and it was a big thing, and a lot of people, for obvious reasons. But then when I read about the Lawrence Smith Fields thing, is the dude had some type of he had some type of connection with law enforcement, and that was the reason why. So in addition to his overall um, power position, you know, it was the fact that he had connection to law enforcement. Right. Brother, you got rid of right. So, um, I mean, to be honest, if we really want to just start digging into it and just talking about the whole the disastrous aspects of swirling, you know, we can get a show out of that easy. That's easy work, you know. But like I said yesterday was definitely powerful, and I just feel like the thing I want most really is to be able to do that in different cities. I just don't know how much interest I can drum up, you know, in different cities. Just because, of course, don't have a large public profile for reasons, as they say. um, and a brother, like a brother said, he was like, "Man, I don't know. Sisters think you're gonna berate them and whatnot, and say some things and hold them accountable, and they might not be down. But y'all came through though. Y'all came through. The sisters that support me supported me, um, and those that know me and those that been following my work, y'all know, um, y'all know my sincerity to the movement, to our people. Sincerity doesn't equal perfection, but insincerity definitely it means imperfection. You know, Sister Star says sisters will be all right. Yeah, I mean we all got work to do. I mean, we got brothers in their 40s who don't even want to wear their pants on their waist. you know, don't even get me started on this. The quickest way. There's a lot of things you can say to sisters to make them to turn them off. Man, a lot of brothers, man, you just start talking about the N word. Now they ready to box. I'm like, bruh, we just saying that the N word is destructive, man. You want to defend it, like you defending that N word, like you need to defend the community, like really, it's embarrassing sometimes. And the whole 40-year-old men sagging, I don't even know what to say. You just literally scratch your head. Like I know for years, I don't know about now because I haven't uh, been shopping like that. But I know for years this finding pants for men was almost an exercise in futility as far as jeans or whatever. Like all the jeans were made for really all the jeans were made for homophiles. Just being honest, just being completely honest. The jeans were made for homophiles. So you bought jeans. Many times you were looking like a homophile, even though you were buying jeans because you needed to buy them because you didn't have many or had many that fit or whatever the case. And I've told a couple of different brothers like the palpable frustration, of something simple of shopping for jeans is just enough to make you be like, come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah. Oh, man. Brother Dessalines say, yeah, people argue. Oh, people argue with you over the N word. That, yeah, it's like, I'm like, you can't abstain publicly, at least, stay in your house and listen to whatever degenerate music you want to N word yourself silly. I think the music definitely, oh man, I think the music contributes, excuse me, and has contributed in the past so much to our addiction to that word. Oh, okay. Oh, that's your policy. Put $1 in a bottle or roll out. Hey man, that's fantastic, brother. I like that. I like that. I definitely need to come up there and man and hang out with you. Yeah, I gotta do that. Y'all been on lockdown for so long, had so many rules and regulations that I just was like, I'm good. brother, brother Kevin said the N word is Negro's universal identity. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so funny. Brother, it's funny you say that. You can get man, it's so funny you say that. You can get different quote unquote conscious people and of all different types of whatever groups, and yet all of them will be saying the N-word, you know. So, that's the thing that's weird to me. That's like, oh, okay, we can't agree on our identity. We ain't African. We know that, but we all N-words. We know that. You know what I'm saying? ADOS N-words, FBA N-words. You know what I'm saying? Hebrew N-words, Morse N-words, Pan-African N-words, NOI N-words. You know what I'm saying? Just like, come on, man. Come on. Oh, man. It just thinking about it, sometimes you have to laugh, so keep from shaking your head and shaking your brains out your ears. You shaking your head so much. Brother Crow says, you have a bunch of brothers now that wear earrings and other piercings, and back when he was growing up, you'd be called a punk for doing something crazy like that. Man, earrings, that's the conservative stuff. that's the conservative stuff. People thought dudes out here wearing full dresses out here. Yeah, and brother kept saying, yeah, including the RBG and B1A. Exactly, no question. They definitely fall within that, conscious N-word crew. And man, please, some of the RBG dudes are the founders of the founders of the N-word conscious N-word crew. National American, National African American Gun Association. Yeah. Just a very oh my goodness, come on. Oh man, yeah, brother. Yeah, I ain't even think about that. It's so funny because I looked at it. I think I saw them on Instagram and I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, some brothers teaching and training. Then I looked at the acronym. I was like, you know what, I'm good. I didn't even want to. I just looked at it and just was like, never mind. Brother Dessalines says, what do you say to these misled brothers spouting Black power, saying that the N word comes from the word negus negesti? I just tell them that our people were taken from West Africa, and none of y'all claim to be Ethiopian. So, and that's an Amharic word. So, yeah, no. Nice try. That's what I tell them. You know what I'm saying? Not one of y'all unless you Rastafari, not one of y'all claiming a connection to Ethiopia. So, you know, enough with the mental gymnastics on that. That's how I respond to that, brother. The rare times I've heard it. So yeah, that's an issue, man. That's another. I remember that was another thing what people was arguing with Brother Genie about years ago. And I'm like, y'all really, and to the point, I just kind of just reminded me. So they had an anti, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like anti-integration conference, and it was here in DC, up at Howard, in fact. And brother, I'm trying to think, brother Genie was there. This before. This was probably before. This before Straight Black Pride. Yeah, this before Straight Black Pride. So brother Genie was there. Wesley Muhammad, is Wesley Muhammad a minister? I'm not sure what his title is, but Wesley Muhammad was there. God, what is that? What is that chick's name? We found out was a mulatto. That she was rocking with Professor Griff for a minute. Zaza Ali was there. She's still around? I don't know. And I want to say that Louis Ali was there, but I'm not 100% sure. So don't quote me on that. But anyway, so that was some of the big players at the conference. And so Jeannie was there and talking about integration, how bad it is. And everybody was speaking. And, Jeannie was dropping knowledge. I was like, okay, this brother's sharp. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had seen him before and we had talked, but this before Straight Black Pride. So we hadn't really connected like that. And man, and then Wesley Muhammad goes on this inward tirade because he know Jeannie is there. And it's just like, yo, what is wrong with this dude right now? I'm sitting in the audience looking like, and it's so funny because I didn't record anything or take pictures because I had went and bought a phone and bought this little jib jab phone. And man, the phone went out like, guys are true. Like soon as I set foot on Howard's campus for this conference, the phone went out. Like the phone just stopped working. I thought it needed to be charged. I was trying to charge it and whatnot. The phone just went dead, man. And I think that was one of the first phones I bought with a built-in battery, and that thing went dead. I had to take the thing back. I don't even remember how much money I spent for it, but yeah, so I didn't get any video or anything from that conference. But I know Jeannie has a video. But yeah, man, Wesley, Dr. Wesley, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, just went off on this inward tirade in the middle of the conference. You know what I'm saying? Specifically because Jeannie was there. And it was just like, yo, what is the problem? Like seriously, what is the problem? You are representing the nation of Islam at this conference against integration. And we're talking about all the things that integration has done, why it's negative and why it's bad for Black people. And this dude just goes on an inward tirade. And of course, Dr. Welsing was against us inwarding ourselves. She was against us calling ourselves B's and H's and as she said, dogs and bow wows, And this dude, it just, oh man, I'm just sitting here thinking about it as we talk about the whole N-word thing, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, what is the problem? And that was back in the day, but it was so noticeable and it looked so classless and tasteless from a brother who at that time I had a high opinion of because of his scholarship. And I just felt I was very disappointed by that. Brother Jefferson's adversarial instead of unifying. You're right. Unnecessarily so at that time anyway, in my opinion, But that's not the only time. To be honest, that was probably the first time, but that's not the only time. as many of you, well, I don't know if y'all remember, but yeah, Wesley Muhammad openly attacked Brother Genie and Straight Black Pride from the rostrum of Mosque Mariam in Chicago. You know, that did happen. And it was like, okay then. And yeah, Brother Kevin said that he defended homophiles in Bombada. I was so my jaw was dropping at us being openly attacked. I don't even remember him defending Bombada. I didn't even remember that, brother. I was too busy like, yo, we being like viciously attacked here. Wow. Okay, fine. You know, it's one of those things, man. You know, that 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 spotlight and that specifically that rostrum is a very powerful place, and you know that power can either go to one's head or make you do things that are dangerous. It is what it is. You know, in fact, Elijah Muhammad warned about the cameras and the microphones. You know, um, that man, the whole Bambada thing. Um, I haven't been keeping up with that case. Has anybody been keeping up with that case? I know he did not respond to the I can't remember if it was a lawsuit or criminal. I think it was a lawsuit. I don't think it was criminal. But I know he did not respond in time. So I haven't followed it after that. But man, the defense of not just homophilia but pedophilia in our community. That's definitely one of the things that we did not expect when we took that stance against it. And what happened is that we didn't realize that how far along we had gone. Our people had gone down that rabbit hole. And Brother Crow says, most honorable Elijah Muhammad never defended the use of the N word. Yeah, not that I have heard. I never heard him use it, never heard him defend it. So, of course, he was from the era where people, he talked about he was a boy seeing a man lynched. He comes from that era. So, I would have to think that he wasn't necessarily fond of the use of that word, but it was used by members, including Malcolm Ford, basically, to be honest. Um, Unique One Express says it would be let me see. It would definitely be cool for like-minded brothers and sisters to have a village community of our own that enables and exhibits morals and traditions. People need to be vetted before acceptance. Yeah, the hardest part is, in order for that to do that, one, you have to, like you said, find enough people, vetting people, and then having enough, to be honest, having enough reproductive age people that you produce a generation that can grow up together in that environment. Those are the necessary ingredients for something like that. And of course, you have to have an economic base as well, um, which may, in a very much a changing world, world that's changing economically in so many other ways, that may be as hard as anything else. So, with that, brothers and sisters, it's getting late. I had not had my evening meal. So, spirit, mind, character, soul, let's put it together then. I mean, in order to do that in sufficient numbers, to be completely honest, everybody would probably have to agree to move to a central location, and that's a discussion for not this platform. you know um Brother, you got ripped off says, I tell you, like I do my men's group, I'm not looking for like-minded people. In a way I'm looking for serious-minded people. Well, if you're serious, then they are. I mean, I know you're serious. So people of like mind will be serious because you are serious. So they go, to me, they go hand in hand, you know. And to be honest, I'll be completely honest. You never know how serious people are until the adversity comes. That's when you know when people are serious. When the adversity comes. A lot of times things seem cool and this and that. When it's time to do the work, and when it's time to do the work, and then the adversity comes, that's when you know. Brother Deciline, I'll put you on. We have a I'll DM you. I'll DM you after. I'll DM you directly after the show to let you know what's going on. Because I'm not sure you're part of some of the things that Brother Genie has set up recently. So I'll put you on with that. So with that, brothers and sisters, I'm going to close this out. I thank you all for your support. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for attending um, the whether virtually or in person yesterday's event. The video, the link will still work for anybody that wants to review it. If there's a part they missed or if you didn't get a chance to see it at all, the link is open today. It'll be open until the morning, and then the link will be open again from next weekend. So I'll leave it open the whole weekend for those that get a chance to do it, and I will send out an uh, email to attendees to let everybody know, and so people can watch it. And you just have to go past the timer part and the part before that. So I think the actual discussion starts about 45 minutes in, something like that. So again, brothers and sisters, I thank you all so much, man, for everything that y'all doing to support. And before I go, the one thing I want y'all to do is if you see one of the lectures virtually or in person and you really enjoy it, good, let people know on your social media that you enjoyed it and that it was worth their while. Spread the word like that. And so we can build that up. Because like I said, most of that money goes back into the movement. So, you know, the support is needed, and trying to build a larger base of support from definitely, and especially from outside of this area, so we can really get to doing some things we need to do, because it's obvious how people just heading as fast as we can in the wrong direction. So with that, brothers and sisters, I say a BB for Hodier and straight black pride.